I'll be real with you, like you're one of like 16 people. You ain't even someone I see as my girlfriend. I don't even really like you like that.
Our daughter's deaf. She doesn't have hearing, and I had to deal with that by myself.
Oh, you didn't.
You put the roads above your daughter.
So they call me Flash Gordon, cause I'm a flash bastard. I'm getting money, I'm a hustle. Plus my car go faster. It's cause I hustle hard, I push keys, I ganja, married to the strip. So I probably marijuana. Got a Christmas like father. I'm like a Lapland farmer, chain filled with snow on my fresh tea glow. I get me though, how you don't rate me. I eat like 5 souls, and hoes love Skrilla, so I get me loads. I affiliate with bosses, and we only play with boxes like notes and crosses. We all had to wash it.
Hi guys, and it's Zeze Millz, and we are back in the building. This time we are back, I want to say, with an OG. You are OG, really, aren't you? G Frsh, I would say you are.
I'll take that.
You're OG. You've been in the, I would say for definitely over a decade, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Way over a decade.
Yeah.
When did you release your first
mixtape?
Yeah.
2004.
Wow.
Yeah.
And do you know what? People still actually care about you.
I know, I don't know why.
Do you know, that's an achievement. Because when I was looking, doing my research, and then you did the one with Sham, the interview with Shams, the self-made series. So when I was looking through the comments, because I love to have a good old peruse through the comments, people were like, "Raw, I thought this was going to be new music. I clicked so fast, I thought it was going to be new music. But I'm happy though, I love the interview, but where's the new music?" Are we ever going to get music from G Frsh again?
Do you know what? I'd never say never. Sometimes I contemplate doing it. I'm like, I could just do like a little 5-track EP or something.
Light work.
Just to speak from a different perspective as an older person, etc., etc. And then I think I can't be bothered, mate.
Well, why? Is it because you think the music industry is a state at the moment?
No, I wouldn't say it's a state, but I think there's less room for the appreciation of, let's say, not higher level content, maybe more intrinsic content.
Because you are known for your wordplay. That's what you're known for. So basically what you're saying is, what G Frsh said, I'm going to just dumb this down for everyone, is that he's too advanced for the listening ear at the moment, and he doesn't want to waste his time going to the studio writing out bars for you lot that you're not even going to understand or care about, because you want to say pew, 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 instead.
You know what it was, yeah? Let me tell you what I got wrong as a musician. It was performing to the VIP.
Okay.
So that's the smallest section of the club.
Right, okay.
The masses are on the dance floor in the main area, but there's even more people outside that can't get in. So what happened was I was just talking to a select few of people, and it was never going to be enough to have a sustainable career on that basis. But then what happens is, as I got older, people will come up to me all the time, "Oh, I listen, yeah, I was a bit," and then I'm like, "But where were you lot when I was putting out the music? Where were you lot?"
So that's what I was gonna touch on. So you did rapping in your early stage of your life, and then now I would say you're like a very established entrepreneur, and you do also management as well. You manage Young Bane, so you've definitely got different hats on. But what I wanted to touch on, because although it's not the same, I feel like I can relate a little bit, because the reason why I started Zeze Millz was because something wasn't necessarily working out how I wanted it to work. Now, obviously, you had success releasing your music, but would you say it's not it didn't reach where you wanted it to reach, and is that why you decided to kind of go on the other side? Because you just mentioned what you said.
The decision to stop was like more. There was a few things. First of all, most people that are musicians feel like that's the one thing they can do, and they can't do anything else. I was never limited in that sense. I always felt like I had a choice. So I got to the stage where I was like, I can do so many other things. I don't have to do this.
Yeah.
And then what also happens is that as an entrepreneur,
this thing I'm doing was taking up the most time and bringing back the least return.
Right, okay.
Whereas other things that I'd be doing, spending less time on, will bring back more return. So it made more sense to concentrate on that. Then I was like 30 at the time, and I'm like, I've got a daughter, and yes, I am a rapper because I make music, but it's not the main source of income for me.
Right, okay.
And I just thought, I don't want her to get to an age where I'm telling her I'm still an aspiring rapper. I just didn't want to be that guy.
But what would you class as an aspiring rapper? Because you had quite a few projects out, you had really good collabs and stuff. So would you still class yourself as an aspiring rapper at that time?
That's what I'm saying. But by all intents and purposes, yes, you're a rapper. But if you're not making money from it, it's not a profession.
With everything, would you say that's with everything?
I'd say the rough definition of a profession is when you're paid for the professionalism in what you do, or you've got to a certain level in what you do where you can get remunerated for your time.
Fair enough.
And that wasn't happening. So then technically I'd be an aspiring rapper. And she's, like at the end of the day, it was like, and then I'm a Nigerian. I had bigger things, like I'm paying for school fees for my daughter, and this is paying for this video or this or that just to do what didn't really make sense at the time. But in hindsight, maybe it wasn't the right decision, because at that time that I quit, 2 years later or so, the music industry here in the UK changes, turns on a penny, just like that. Do you ever have regrets then? Nah. Or do you ever feel like, maybe, like you just said, like maybe if I'd done it a little bit longer, then I would have been somewhere different? Yeah, and that's what makes the Skeptors, right? That's what makes the Giggs right. But that wasn't my path. That's what makes Gets great. People that made that transition, they were earning money anyway at the time, because they were bigger than me anyway. But in terms of transcending and just staying in for the long haul, that was their calling, do you understand? It wasn't mine. So do you still have a passion for it? For like making music, going to the studio, or no? I didn't used to like going to the studio. I hated it. I thought it felt like work or homework or... So what actually made you want to become a rapper? Boredom. Okay. And that's why I also never felt... I just didn't, when you'd read everyone's interview, I used to make music since I was 4. I felt like I had imposter syndrome because I was just basically bored, was making a lot of money in other ways, had a story to tell, and felt this God-given right to go and tell my story, which I didn't have, do you understand? Really and truly, maybe that's why I was never supposed to be a rapper. I get what you mean. This is our hand movement for. Everyone gets it. No, because I think, because I've been following you for a while on socials, and I think seeing that transition has been really nice. I remember seeing a video, and this was time ago, where you bought a whole row, was it, of property or something? And you built some houses, and you was talking about it, and you were saying this is how you invest your money, and you was kind of like one of the first, I would say, that was kind of telling people like there's different options, as in, you might get your money this way, or you might have made your money however, but this is, you can invest it, you can do this, and I think we're seeing more of it, but I would definitely say you was one of the first to do that. And I will say also, before we started filming, I said about when you was doing your albums and selling the merch alongside it. Again, not a lot of people was doing that back then, and you kind of so when you, and now everyone does it. Now you can buy the bundle, you can go on, you can buy the album with the jumper and all this stuff, and now it counts towards your sales and all these other things. And it's like, do you ever look back and have, I wouldn't say resentment, but a little bit just like, when I was doing this, no one cared, bruv. No one cared, and now everyone's doing it, and it's like, oh, you're sick, but you're like, I've been doing this. Yeah, do you know, I don't feel that. I think because you were right in the end. Right. It's like, I told you. Yeah. So even, I think I was putting up some pictures of some of the fresh wear that we did before, and seeing the similarities between streetwear today and what we were doing then. So like, even like, like the Balenciaga jumper with the Balenciaga, and we'd have fresh things like that. I'd had fresh jumpers I'd have light up jumpers, I'd have even a small logo thing was something that I think we did one of the first. But now I feel like, I knew what I was doing. I was right in the end.
And because sometimes, like, so even like trading, when people, you know, like when you're trading crypto commodities, blah, 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 sometimes you lose money, right? But as long as you made the right decision, it doesn't hurt as much. And that's where, for me, that's where I am now. And then being able to then put all of that knowledge into a vessel like Bain, and then see him blow up was even more vindication as to from my thought process and perspective, basically.
So you mentioned Bain, you manage Young. So Young Bain is signed to Disturb in London.
Yeah.
Bain, what's happening with Bain at the moment? Because he put something out the other day saying that his final album, not doing anything after this, etc.
Yeah, he did say that, and I think he means it. Do you understand? But you have to speak to Bain.
Okay.
Bain is a multiverse in himself. So you have to speak to Bain to get a perspective there.
But how does that make you feel as a manager?
No, I mean, as a manager, you work for an artist.
Right.
So you serve their purpose. Whatever they want to do, you kind of have to facilitate that. Does it disappoint me that a great talent like that would want to pack it all in? Yeah, but I did the same too. I did it off of the back of Alfie, which was well received, all the rest, and I just went, nah, I can't be bothered anymore. So it gets like that sometimes.
Would you, because I feel like there's like a trend, well not a trend, I feel like there's a recurring theme happening, especially with like the younger rappers, I would say, where they kind of come out, they shoot to stardom, to fame, or the glitz, the girls, the jewelry, everything, the clubs. And then that kind of, I see that it lasts for about 3 years where they're probably enjoying it and they like it. And then it comes to the point where they put out some cryptic thing like, and it makes me kind of sad because I think Bain done it, then J Hus has said it, and then I think even the other day Lowski said something like, I'm fed up of all of this. And it makes me think like, what's happening within the industry, why so many of these like young boys are just getting fed up of it when they're all really talented? What do you think it is?
There's a few things. First and foremost, one of the reasons I felt like, okay, maybe I was never going to be an artist is I'm not that emotional. Okay. I'm like very logical, I'm a critical thinker. I don't participate in the feels of much, right? So
that means he's a terrible boyfriend then.
But I'm a great boyfriend. I'm a great boyfriend if it's that. But so what happens is a true artist, right, speaks in emotive language all the time. That's how they become great. They're giving you their emotions, how they feel, their perspective, and they're pouring it all out and they give it to the world. So naturally, they already are quite sensitive.
Right, yeah.
Yeah? Then you have this other element, which I wanted to do this podcast where I talked about success journeys, because I think in today's culture, everything happens so quickly. Right, yeah. It's no longer does it just feel or look like it happened overnight. It actually does happen overnight, right? So, and that's why I love what Lin May's doing with her podcast, telling these stories, because that's pretty much what I wanted to do. Because now you've got an artist today puts out a freestyle. A week later, he's got X amount of money in his bank, a video, bare followers, and he's popping. Right. It's like the films we watched as a kid where people got their 15 minutes of fame, and it was like a dream story, right? So I think is it like Mike or something, and he gets to be a basketballer and he puts the trainers on.
Yeah. Bow Wow, I used to love that film.
Well, that's what it feels like now. Yeah. So they now, yesterday were just nobody. Now today you're somebody and you've got money, right? Then everything's going so fast, you're not even feeling anything. You're not taking it in. Their feet are off the ground, you know, like the cartoon just running, right? And then eventually they slow down, have to process it all. There's a million things that have happened on the way. There's a million things. There's a massive learning curve and journey they've been on. And then at some point you go, was it actually worth it?
Right, okay.
Do you understand? And then you have the other problem, which is what I call like the Cinderella story when it comes to artists, is that when the clock strikes 12, everything goes away. And at some point, that's worse and harder to deal with than just never having the fame at all. If you have to watch your own decline.
Right, yeah.
That's crazy. Nobody probably is ready for all of that.
Do you think there's enough things though, like within the industry to help? Like you're saying, there's enough advice. Now people are talking a lot about money management, but I don't think people talk about people's mental health and how you process things and how you talk to people. Do you think there's enough of that within the industry?
There isn't enough because we don't know enough. This is the first time we're seeing the phenomenon firsthand, yeah. And
well, not really, because I mean, it's not new that this happens, that people go up and then because it's too much for them, they don't know what to do with it. We've seen that happen a lot in history, yeah.
But in terms of the volume at which it's happening now, it happens across the board in all entertainment now, whether that's just a content creator, a comedian or whoever. It happens because social media is fast food culture. Do you understand? So it's happening a lot at a quicker rate, right? So yes, there are things. Yes, people and labels and management companies will encourage artists to talk to therapists and all the rest of it. I don't think there's a clear-cut solution unless you have like good, essentially maybe an artist that listens. Because another problem is that everyone's talking so much to someone, they don't know who to listen to. So you're taking in so much information, trying to process it. Then a lot of the time, people are coming into their success at an early age while they're growing as a person. So now they want to start, thinking for themselves, yeah? But they don't have the time to be able to do that because things are happening so quickly. This one's telling you to do this one's pulling you here, the man them are telling you this. This is too much for anyone to deal with. Now, can the people that are in the know, the people that have seen this story a few times, management, labels, blah, 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 unfortunately in those situations have the voices that count for the least when it comes to the arts, because traditionally you're taught these people are here to take from you. So don't listen to them, listen to your people. And that's where sometimes it goes a bit
pear-shaped.
Yeah.
Being somebody that has come up and seen different genres, different movements within the music industry, before you was like, I've had enough, a couple of years later, everything just went kaboom and UK scene was becoming a thing. Yeah. Talk about how you've seen everything evolve and how much it has changed, and do you think it's changed for the better or do you feel like there's still loads more work for us to kind of do?
I mean, obviously there's always loads of work to do. Has it changed for the better? I'd say 100%. And I remember because you're making music, you're watching Channel U, and then like your video never comes on. Yeah? So like, this is mad. Yeah? So then the problem is with that, they create a crabs in a bucket mentality for us because you feel like there's only X amount of slots in a day. So for you to fit in, somebody else has to lose, right? Yeah. So then everyone becomes serious competition. And then one day I sat there and I looked at my CD shelf and I saw all the CDs I had on there. I had all the different rappers, from even UK ones, everything. And I said, Rob, one person can buy loads of CDs. We don't have to fight for one fan, yeah? And that's where we are now. You can love all of the artists at the same time. You can go to all their shows. Spotify and all the rest allows you to listen to all their music, yeah? So we're in a great space in that respect. And people are being made into millionaires, like, very quickly. That was happening to a handful of people. So Solid's made a lot of money. Obviously, the Tinies, the Chips, the Tinchies. But now, there doesn't have to be. There was only like, okay, well, Chip's the guy. And okay, if Tiny's gonna be the guy, then he has to go. And there was only room for one person. Now you can have Stormzy, Dave, Huss, Bane, DBE, H, Ardy, all these different people existing all at the same time. And I think that's beautiful.
Do you think that's the same for the ladies? Because I think the men, they get to kind of coexist with each other, but the ladies now, I do feel like there's still that element of there can only be one, and then everyone just starts getting compared to everyone. They don't let people just live and breathe and be who they are. It's now they get, do you know what I'm saying? Although they get compared to Nicki Minaj or...
The problem is with the ladies thing, and I think a lot of like the male part of the industry gets the blame for the lack of success of female artists, right?
Right, yeah.
But females listen to more music than men, right? So now, if you lot ain't listening, then it's more on the women.
He's saying it's our fault.
Yeah, it's more on the women. Are there more female artists than there were in the past? 100%. I think them times there it was like Shiesty, Lady Fury, Miss Dynamite, Stush.
Yeah.
There's obviously a lot more that I can't remember. But in today's day and age, I think you've got more of them operating at a higher level than they were. Everything takes time. But the main thing is females probably need to listen to female music more because men are less inclined to do so. I loved female rappers when I was younger, but I think even like, so Foxy Brown was my favorite female rapper, right? But I think it's because of her male energy.
Yeah, fair enough.
Do you know what I mean? So I would find it harder to relate to a female with female energy, musically directed. So, but if they're directed towards the girls have to listen.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying? When you were saying about the men, about everyone in the industry now, they're kind of...
What being?
Talking about, because you were saying about the men, everyone's kind of coming together and they realise that it doesn't have to be crabs in a barrel, that everyone can kind of eat and
exactly.
enjoy.
Yeah. So I think that's the beauty of where we're at now. I can't remember what
how it's progressed into you when you first started.
Yeah. Another thing is that everyone complains about streaming. I think it's the best thing.
Oh, do you?
100%. Like we were coming out at a time where you had 1 week to sell all the records you were going to sell, and then them times there, if you did 500, you were over the moon.
Right.
Now 500, £10 a pop, they wouldn't even cover your studio time. But now I have people listening to my music in perpetuity, and I get paid from it till today. So the G Frsh fan today still listens, and I still get paid. Now that didn't happen before. That's also a beautiful thing. Secondly, are the lower barriers to entry, right? And that has two effects in any industry, where you're going to have more participation, so you're going to have actually an increased creativity base. Yeah?
Right. Okay.
But at the same time, there's no one policing the barriers, which means you end up with a lot of shit, right? Shit survives for a while. And it kind of will always thrive in some capacity.
Sometimes it even floats.
But the cream will always rise to the top. And if you notice, even with all of this, the best artists are still pretty much, the biggest artists are very talented, whether that's the Coles, Kendricks, Drakes. These are all the biggest rappers for real.
Yeah.
And they're all great. They all still rap, they all still make great music. And all the other stuff comes and goes.
Do you, when you were rapping, I feel like we looked over to the Americans a lot. It was like everyone wanted to be American. Everyone was like, we have to. And I think finally we have created our own lane. No?
Yeah,
or do you think we still look over?
We still look over. We do.
Do you think the Americans rate us as much as we think they do?
No.
Neither do. Because I see that a lot. Everyone's like...
this is like going to one state in America. You just go to the state, do what you're doing, and get your money and bounce. Yes, they rate it. Yes, they take things from our culture, but they always have done that. I mean, to say we've carved our own lane is mad when probably the best music, original music to come out of the UK is garage. There's no lane that was better carved.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then you've had funky house, then you've had grime, you've had all these different genres that have been great. Drill being another example, them doing that, cool. But do we still look to America for pieces and information? Yes, we do. Do they look to us more than they ever did? Yes, they do, because they've got increased accessibility through social media.
Do you think that's... Oh, I think it's fine, but I know I always see online, everyone's always like, we don't need America, we should do our own. Why are we always begging it with them when they come over? Why are you not getting excited for? And I think it's pretty redundant. I think it doesn't make sense, because I would say within the UK, we didn't have like a necessarily like popular culture. Yeah. Our popular culture was American culture. We would watch the Troubles, we would watch the MTVs, we would watch all of that. Only recently we've only started having our own shows and our own reality shows that we can even look to.
Look at the film you just did.
A Boxing Day, yeah.
How well did it do?
It's done really well, yeah.
But could it have done better? People talking about, oh, we need to stop doing this, but they're not even supporting something
Yeah.
Of that caliber here.
Yeah.
Do you understand? People, it's just a little brother syndrome that the UK has with America. But when it's done properly, if you look at the relationships that Giggs and Skepta and people like that have curated with American artists, where there's a mutual respect, it's fine.
So I want to talk about all your different ventures, but one that I really, Prince of Peckham.
Yeah, have you been?
I haven't been yet, you know.
You need to come.
I definitely, do you know what? I really, really want to come down because I think that's so, talk to me about that. Talk to me how all of that came about, the idea, like why you wanted to do it, because...
So my cousin, Clement, has been in hospitality for a very long time.
Right.
Without him, we couldn't even get into the West End when we were kids. Like, so he used to do like guest lists, had a company called Mace PR, which did like balling parties and all these different things in the West End. And they really, can I say, they brought the ends to the West End, and we weren't there before. Or on a Sunday, all of that.
Oh my God, all those places that used to pop. And if you couldn't get in, who were you? Like, you couldn't get into this club. Well, we're going here. It's so mad, because I saw someone put on their Insta story today, they was like, right, like everyone, it was Becky actually, like everyone come back from Ghana and Dubai, what, no motives now, where's all the motives? I was thinking, it's so true, like back in the day, there was always something happening.
Exactly.
You could go like West End on a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night and you would have a good time.
Well, exactly, so that's what they did first. Then he ran a few venues, I can't remember the name of one of them, but Ringler and Mango, and a pub in Kensal Green called Paradise, and he just always wanted to have his own place, right? And then I was like, whenever you're ready, I'm on it. One day he was ready, found the place. He's the genius behind it all.
Right,
I'm just like, I support whatever you do, and here's my 2 pence.
Right.
But really and truly, he's the genius that makes it work.
For those of you that don't know, Prince of Peckham is a pub, right? And you serve like Caribbean food.
Why white men can't jerk.
Right, nice. And you have loads of different events going on there. It's a nice, cool little space.
Yeah. And it's all comers. That's the beauty of it. You can sit there, I can sit there, see white, black, pink, grey, old, young, trans, whatever the hell is all in one place.
Well, I went to Peckham the other day and I couldn't believe how the gentrification, like, it's
scary,
mad. Like back in the day, you would never, Peckham wasn't a place that you even wanted to even think you would go. Like it was the place where you'd be like, no, you don't go. Your mum would be like, but now I went.
I think they like those places differently.
What, when, of course.
It's lit. Crazy.
Of course.
Like it's lit like Crime Watch.
Exactly, but now it's not. Now it's all nice and it's looking all, and you walked out. I was thinking, wow, like this is so wild. How was it for you during COVID? Because obviously hospitality took a really hard hit. How did that feel? That must have been what?
No, COVID it was horrible but good.
How?
Because it was a leveler, and it made you take stock of who you were and where you were. And for a few of us, I think it made us realize we're not invincible. Because for a lot of our lives, we just did well all the time.
Right.
And then all of a sudden someone can go,
no, sorry, son.
Yeah. And then you're like, whoa, shit, this is what it feels like to have, like squeaky bum time.
But as a business, how did you feel? Like as an entrepreneur, because a lot of people during that time,
we adapted.
Right, okay.
When they brought in, obviously we're closed, we're losing money, whatever. Then they brought in a rule with the 2 meters apart, so we went into the basement to have more space so we could have more covers and actually make it worthwhile opening. We then opened up the pub for Deliveroo, because we never had that before.
Right, okay.
So it just makes you think a bit differently. We had and made an outside area also that increased capacity. And then in the meantime, one of the biggest things was that we wanted to open another pub. Okay. And then we had some issues with trying to get some clauses in a contract to protect ourselves and so on and so forth. But lucky, imagine we had done that just before Corona came, then we'd be in shit. But I don't even know if I'm not even going to say nothing. I'll say it when it comes. And then.
We were just about to get. We're about to get an exclusive there.
Yeah.
But I definitely really want to come down, because I don't. I always say, like, when people open up restaurants or something, we should do something that is not kind of done before. Now, I get it, like our culture, so you will want to open up a Nigerian restaurant or a Caribbean restaurant, but I always say that we are technically in an English country, right? So you need to kind of adapt and you need to think of a quirky way. Okay, so yeah, you want to sell your Caribbean food, but what's the quirky way to sell your Caribbean food or whatever?
Exactly.
So when I saw that, I thought, that's so sick, because people who wouldn't normally eat Caribbean food, but they identify with the pub, or the pub is their, like, I understand the pub, I get the pub. Pub is my culture. I've been, like, my parents, or I've grown up around pub. They will go there, they'll be like, oh, okay, cool. So I liked how you done that, but I feel like you've always been like that. You've always kind of been, like you said, quite quick, quite creative. How did that come about? Have you been like that from young?
Yeah, so initially I thought I used to draw and stuff when I was young. I can't draw now, but initially I thought I was just an academic, because that's what my mum told me. Well, she didn't even tell me I was just like, everything was books. I just did really well at school, blah, blah, blah. Then making music, I realized I was creative.
Right, okay. What did your mum say about, because you're a Nigerian background, what did your parents say about the deciding that you want to be a rapper after you got all your good grades, and then you're like, oh, by the way, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. What was that like?
I think it was like, you know, you have some time to do it.
But
and then you've got to
reel it in.
Yeah.
But
I don't know how I got away with it, to be honest with you. Sometimes I look back and I don't know if it was the right decision or not, because it's one of those weird, music as an industry is something that retires everybody quite young. So it feels good. You can have a good 20 years.
Yeah.
But after that, you've done this thing for 20 years. What the fuck do you do afterwards? And not in a bad way, the age of the old, I don't know, MDs at labels, it's going to be gone soon. Like, the kids are taking over. There's a big DIY culture. Labels and stuff are still going to be there, but it's going to all become so much younger. So I think, was it the right decision? I was just going to be a banker or do something like that. But I'd probably, do you know another thing? I'd probably, like, even now, I'd probably be married now. I'd be more regular. I'm a bit like.
We were talking before we started filming, and G said that you're single.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Like, big man like you, like eligible bachelor, you know, got all the coins flowing nicely, you know what I'm saying? And no lady. Why?
There's a few reasons, but I think one of them is like, music gives you an element of like Peter Pan, where you're like, you think you're a boy forever.
This is what, I would agree with that.
Yeah, so there's elements of that, but I mean, loads of people are married in the industry. It's not to say that. I was in a relationship for 10 years from young, which is my daughter's mum.
Oh, wow, okay.
So I think that kind of made me want, like, that was from like 17 to 27. Okay. Then you kind of just want to live life.
Your best life.
Then the best life becomes better. And then you just get, and then you're like,
Now you're bored. Because I think but this is what I'm saying to you. That's what I was saying to you.
But that's the best time to get in a relationship, is when you're finished with everything else.
That's why I was saying I need the older guys.
But
that's what you men have the privilege of being able to date like younger women.
Yes.
And we're still going to be mature. We're still going to be lit. We're still going to be the damn thing. If I decide now to date a 25-year-old, I'm struggling.
You still could do it. You can definitely do it. Because a lot of younger men love older women.
But mentally, they're not there.
No, they're not where we are in terms of having had the enjoyment and getting tired of it. No, they're not there yet. But a lot of them are ready to step up and be adults. I think it's fine to date, I mean, within reason.
Yeah,
but 25, there's 25-year-olds on stuff, ready. They may fuck up, but big men will fuck up anyway. We're all gonna fuck up at some point.
Yeah, I know, but I just already we know that men are 3 years younger than their actual age mentally, scientifically.
What makes a good man to you? What?
Someone that's emotionally mature. That is
what does that mean? Because people spout these emotional intelligence, maturity. What does it mean? Yeah.
If there's a problem, we can talk about it. It's not going to always, if I come to you with a problem, you're not going to see it as moaning. If you come to me as a problem, like just simple things like the way I love might be different to the way you love, but you need to be mature enough to understand that and not see it as I don't love you, vice versa. You know, all those type of things where as you get older, you realize people deal with things differently. So even me, as I've got older, I know I'm quite high maintenance when it comes to like attention, but as I've got older and more emotionally mature, I know that's actually not probably feasible. So I now need to kind of figure out how I now need to change to make that okay. So just things like that. Yeah, go on.
So this information is all new information to us, isn't it?
Yes.
Mainly through social media, right? So we didn't even have this information when we were 20s.
Right.
Right? Now, these guys have this information also. So they're learning at a different pace to what you would consider a traditional 25-year-old to be.
No, there were studies the other day that said men don't mature fully until they're 41.
Yeah, no, but what I'm trying to say to you is nobody knew what a love language was before.
True.
5 years ago.
No, I did. I took a love language test when I was in church. I remember when I was like there was this book that I read, and it was called The 5 Love Languages.
Yeah.
And I remember I read it, but this is because I was a church girl and I thought I was going to get married ASAP.
So what's your love language?
Well, mine at the moment is acts of service and quality time.
Okay. Okay.
And before that used to be like touch and physical. Now I'm just like, don't touch me. Can you put the light bulb up? Because who knows when I'm gonna have someone tall enough to put the light bulb in the socket. Like, so it's changed for me now.
Yeah. Okay. And what else, man?
I would like there to be an element of like financial freedom.
Yeah. Freedom.
As in not you have to have shitloads of money, but when I say that, I mean, if I wanted to do something spontaneous, go on a really, like, we can do that, and it's not going to be a problem, and it's not.
So do you mean free from the shackles of work?
Oh no, because before, okay, I would say only in the last year and a half have I had the freedom to maybe do stuff that I would like to do, and not be conscious of like, oh shit, if I spend this amount of money, I'm not going to be able to afford this, right? So I was speaking to someone the other day and he said to me, he's saving for a house. And I said, that's brilliant, but I'm not in that stage of my life at this moment, okay? So I'm not saving for something like that. But I understand it and I respect that, but. And he was like, he doesn't want to go out, he doesn't want to do any of these stuff. And he also said that he wasn't looking for anything serious. So there was like double whammy. It wasn't like, oh, I'm looking for something serious, so go on me with this journey and blah de blah de blah. It was loads of other things, but it was like, bruv, you don't want anything serious, and we're not doing anything fun. So what is the point of this whole situation?
Yeah.
So I just said to him, oh, I'm not there yet. I'm in this. I want to do fun things. I do kind of want to go out and kind of just not care and kind of like, just enjoy myself. And he wasn't in that space. So I made the executive decision that this is probably not going to work for us because we're at different stages in our lives. Yeah. So when I say that, I mean, we can just do things that we don't have to think twice about.
I know, but you're looking for a bit of a unicorn.
Am I really?
To a certain extent, because, like once you have that level of choice, you apply it to all areas of your life.
Okay.
Right? Let me speak from my own perspective, yeah. Right. And then, so the guy that, yes, he's not, apart from the fact he didn't want anything serious.
Yeah.
A guy like that is actually probably the better.
He would be if he was looking for something serious.
Yeah.
So if I met someone that was looking for something serious and he said, I'm saving for this, then I'd be like, okay, cool.
Yes.
That probably wasn't the best example of the saving for the house, but he was basically saying, I'm clamping down on all the stuff that I'm doing because I'm doing this and I want to do, and I was just like, that's not for me right now. So you said what I'm looking for right now. I'm looking for someone that I can have fun with, do things with, but also build potentially, if that's you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So where I am in my life now, I would like to do those things. So whoever I decide to date, I want him to be able to, and that doesn't mean
maybe have his own house already.
So what I'm saying is, and that doesn't mean he has to pay for everything. I want to make that. That means we both have the freedom to do stuff that should we want to do it, we can do it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
What would be your ideal vacation?
Ooh. What would be my ideal vacation? What place or type of thing?
Type of thing. What does it involve? Is it chilling by the beach, reading books? Is it raving it up? Sex parties, hedonism? What is it?
Bare sex parties. No, my ideal vacation. No, chill time, activities, nice food, nice sun. It doesn't have to be somewhere like amazing. I'm happy for us to, as long as I'm with a person that I enjoy and we're in a nice accommodation and we feel nice, I'm happy with that. It doesn't have to be like, fuck it, we're gonna go to this expensive place. And I've never been like caught up on the shiny things. I'm happy to stay at home with a person and just chill and have a nice time, get a takeaway in, talk and do that. I'm happy to do that. But when I want to do nice things, I want to be able to do that. Do you get what I mean? Because because I've worked hard. I've worked hard myself to get to this point where I can. If I want to do nice things, I can do nice things. So I would like the person that I'm dating, if they want to do nice things, they can do nice things.
Of course, yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
I get that.
And there's times when I've dated people and I can feel that if I say something, they will be like, oh, I'm not too sure, I don't know if I, and that's okay. And I'm not gonna like shame you for that, but that's not where I am, if that makes sense. And I think if people are more honest with themselves with those type of conversations, then we would be in a lot better place.
Yeah, that's the main principle I operate on when in relationships with the opposite sex. Is just honesty and being clear, open as to what one wants and what one doesn't want.
So you actually have mentioned your daughter quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I love when you put her up because by the way, sometimes you do these Facebook and I'm like, wow, she's your twin.
But people say that, and she is.
She literally is.
I'm too ugly to make her on my own. Like her mum is beautiful, and that's where she gets the pretty parts from. I think she gets the basic, 2 eyes, some cheeks.
No, but there's like, even the smile was a little bit like you.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
But
she gets the rest of it.
But what I love about what you put up with your relationship is that you're teaching her about entrepreneurship, and you're educating her on that, and she comes and she talks about, she's got like a lip gloss line, hasn't she? She talks all about that. And that's what I really, really like. As a father with a young girl, what do you think about the state of the music that comes out from young ladies these days, and are you cautious about the stuff she listens to? Or am I? Because I'm always talking about it and saying, young girls listening to WAP about the dripping and all this stuff, and even the song Shensia and what's her name brought out, and they're talking about licking, and your daughter can go on YouTube and she can see that. As a father, and actually somebody who's in the music industry, who probably works with female rappers, what's your perspective on that?
What? Did Little Kim have an effect on you?
She did. However, the difference I think with that is that I wouldn't be able to watch a Little Kim video at 5 o'clock in the afternoon or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay,
yes.
I would have to wait till after dark on BET or Channel U after dark. I wouldn't be able to access something so easily where I can see her like gyrating, and so that's the difference, in my opinion.
For my daughter, I listen, like you'll notice if anyone's watched any of our videos, I listen to her, we'll listen to rap music where they're swearing.
Right, okay.
But she'll always rap and they go, like, where they would up.
Right, okay.
So, I think when it comes to children, like there's, someone said something about basically when kids are skateboarding, leave them, right? Because they have to hurt themselves, they have to fall over, they have to basically experience the horrors of the world.
Right.
Firsthand. The more you try and hide someone from that, you end up with Sleeping Beauty, where she pricks her finger for the first time, and and wants to sleep forever or whatever the case may be. Right now, there's no point me hiding that when my daughter can go to school and then one girl's gonna tell you that she's non-binary today. This one discovered she likes this and doesn't like that, and all of these things are happening around her. Right. The world is very real. You're gonna get pieces of information that all make sense in the end as you get older, right? So I remember I used to, one of the first tapes I ever bought was Reggae Hits, volume 15, and then there was this song. Don't play it in the car. My mum's telling me just don't play the song, but he goes, I know this pretty little girl named Faye. She's doing around the world one day. And he introduced, she said, she wants the drummer, she wants the guitarist, she wants the dinner, but most of all, she wants the pianist. I thought it was a pianist.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with the song. Years later, I find out, that's what he meant. At that time, I'm listening to it innocently. WAP means nothing. Yeah.
No, you can't. It's not the
WAP
same.
means nothing until you know what it means.
No, because she's saying wet ass pussy in it. Yeah, but in the perness, he didn't even know
Oh,
what
yeah,
he was
okay,
saying.
okay,
Because
okay,
that's what
true.
I'm saying. There's a level of creativity that is not happening right now.
There is, my thing is, I have very candid and real conversations with my daughter. My daughter said to me, we're driving along, Daddy, I want my period. And then she said to me one time, and I said, trust me, you don't want that. by the way."
Yeah. Trust me, it's long. Just leave it. Just while you don't have it, just enjoy it. Like literally.
She was young and she goes, Daddy, I wanna have kids, but I don't wanna have SE10. I'm saying, what's SE10? And then she goes, private school, so she knows, so they think in a left way. So
okay.
10 is X in Roman numerals, obviously.
Okay,
So
right.
SE10 is sex.
Oh, okay.
Right. So I'm like, wow, where did you even where did you learn this? And then she told me she's read the book in the library years ago.
So does she want to adopt? I'm just giving her. I'm just giving her option.
Like, she's read the book in the library. She's ahead of us. You were aware of so much before your parents knew what you actually
I know,
knew.
but I just feel like the videos are too much. Don't you think, G? Come on. But
They
I
are,
feel like
okay, the videos it can be a lot. It can, and I do wonder, sometimes I watch a video and I go, okay, you lot know that big women ain't really buying your music like that. So who are you really aiming this at? Blah, blah, blah. Then America has a very different culture to ours, completely different. Women stay ratchet for longer, yeah, I'd say.
Women stay ratchet for longer?
In America,
Okay.
I think there's like a culture, very big cultural difference. Yeah.
And I even think they put it on now. They really, because they understand there's value behind it and there's value behind giving off that persona.
Exactly.
That very, I get what you mean, yeah.
Thing I always teach my daughter is just to be able to think and make decisions for yourself and navigate the world in that way.
Right.
Everybody has a choice. That's the most important thing. I know this sounds crazy and I say it all the time. If my daughter turns out to be a hoe because she's a hoe, then she's just a hoe and I don't care. She's still my daughter. Do you understand? The fact that she likes
Cardi B.
or fucking or doing whatever else, that's her business.
Right.
What am I gonna do? All these girls are people's daughters and all the rest of it. It's just life. It is what it is. And I'm saying I'm not trying to, I don't think that the songs are enough to be able to change and configure who she is as a person, especially those songs. Because as I say, you listen to those songs.
I think it has the influence though, but I listened to them as I got older. I was very much in the church. I was like talking in tongues and everything.
But did it make a difference to you in your sex life in real life? Did it make you did it make you more of a prude than other girls at any point?
No, I wouldn't.
Because girls in the church are still as wild as anyone else.
Well,
do you know
when
what I mean?
got let loose, it was.
Well, this is what I'm trying to say. so sometimes, that's exactly what I'm trying to say, because sometimes I describe it as my mum would never buy snacks in the house, right? So if she did, that one pack of 24 crisps will get done in a day, because we never had crisps in the house all the time. So
then that means you feel then that music in general doesn't have an influence on people.
No, I think it does. It 100% does.
Yeah.
To different degrees, yeah? I'm not denying that at all, right? So, because I could sit there and go, when I was doing certain things I was doing, I could watch things and it would inspire me to be even bigger and better at what I was doing.
Right.
Right? There's no denying that. Was I heavily influenced by someone like Jay-Z as a kid? Of course. Jay-Z, for a lot of people from a generation, was pretty much like your dad. Do you understand? He taught you game and how to think and to maneuver in certain environments, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, for me anyway, and some people. Then, does music have an influence? Yes. I think, and I don't want to diss violent music. Violent music, I don't think can make you want to stab someone or do anything to anyone. I think it definitely desensitizes you when put in that situation.
I think it can put you in the frame of mind if you're in that environment already, like what you said.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Then it
Definitely,
can,
yeah, because if everyone's doing it, you think, oh well, that's what we do, right? And then it also actually subconsciously creates a fear in you that that's going to happen, and then you feel like you have to protect yourself because you think everybody's on smoke, right?
Right. Okay.
Now, when it comes to females and the music, I don't know that the sexual element of some of these songs affects them as much maybe as these other things affected us as men?
I would say just, if even outside of the sex, I would say the message that they are giving young girls, which is the, you know, make sure you get your bag before you do this, make sure you get that before you sleep with this guy, or not, you know, or instead of telling them, make sure he's kind, or make sure he knows your self-worth, or make sure he knows that you're this, instead it's just like, sis, make sure you get your purse before you open them legs, so it's worthwhile. It's just, and for me, I think that is what I think. But one thing you touched on before that I wanted to circle back to was Disturbing London. So you work with Disturbing London, right? Why, which I think is quite unfortunate, why does there seem to be like a cloud, I would say, over the reputation of Disturbing London? Like when people, because I would say again, they were tiny, dummy, they were like really, they still are, but they had all these brand deals with like Smart and all these things, and it was such a big brand, and everyone was just like, oh yeah, this is sick. And I would say recently, when I speak to people, or just having my ear to the ground, when people hear of Disturbing London, it's a bit like, yeah, well, okay, well, yeah, like that type. It's a, why do you think that's happened? Why?
Do you know why I laugh? Yeah. Because it's so nice for people to be able to go, that's the best thing for them now, because consistency is a motherfucker. Like, you watch someone pop for X amount of years. Unfortunately, we're human beings, and you can't wait till the days that some things look a bit shaky. Yeah. Right. So that's how I address those kind of things. In terms of the reality of the things that have happened, yeah. Because by nature you'll see people like Dummy and T, even myself, we're not particularly vocal out there. We're not picking up the phone, guys, this is what's happened. So then you're hearing one side of the story, right? That's one thing. So I'll give, a situation that I'm, say, directly involved in is someone like Pounds, right? Pounds, my guy, amazing artist, yeah? First time I heard him, I'm in LA, I hear his voice, I'm like, this guy's sick, we need to sign him. We signed him, cool. Now, every record deal, at the end of it, stops you releasing music for a period of time before, because otherwise you release with them, and you can just walk into that label, they release, and they take advantage of all the work that the other label's done promo-wise, right? So there's like a cooling off period in the contract, just like if you have a job, you give a notice period, you probably can't work in the same industry or this people for X amount of time, so you have to sit around with your hands under your bum until that's done.
I get it in my contract, I see it like with influence, they say if you work with that brand, then you can't work for this, with this time period, you can't work for that brand. Okay, cool.
Pounds, being the marketing genius that he is, says, I'm free. He's been shackled, yeah? But that's not what happened. All you did was live out the clause in the contract to say then after that you release music.
Oh, okay, so...
That's all that happened.
Oh, right, so he was signed, then after his contract came to an end. But why did it come to an end though?
Because contracts come to an end.
Yeah, but that was quite, that wasn't a long period of time though.
It was only like 2 singles and a mixtape or something
like
that.
Okay, right.
So his contract comes to an end, and then, but he does the pouring, and I still love it because I think it's sick. You're on the blogs, everyone's talking about it. It's sick, but it's not it. And the thing is, you can't fault him because what he's saying isn't lie. It's not a lie because you have been restricted from releasing music as per your contract after it ends, but you haven't. But the perspective that you've been shackled while you've been signed and not allowed to release music isn't true.
So do you ever want to speak out about things? They're not thinking it leaves a bad taste in people's mouth about like Disturbing London, about no?
No.
Because from the outside, like I'm saying, if we all went by what Pound said, then we'd be like, yeah, and then obviously my man, this whole thing's happened with that one, and now this one. So then it seems like there's this recurring, repeating pattern happening. Do you not ever then think, no, actually, let's just release this, let's just...
Sometimes we do. Sometimes you do, and then I'm sure Dumi may have touched on it.
Or is it with the people Or is it the people that need to know? So really,
That's it,
we
that's
don't
it.
give a
And
shit.
yeah.
Whoever, it's if you guys want to think that, then that's up to you.
You'll never be right anyway. You'll never win. That's a kind of argument you never win, because people will still feel like stopping an artist releasing after they've been released from a contract is unfair.
How
They
long
won't
was he not allowed to
understand.
release for?
I don't know, it's like 3 months or something like that. It's nothing. Like, do you know what I mean? It's really not that deep. But when he says it affected his mental health, of course, if that's what he says, then that's the case. Do you understand? If he didn't, he felt like he was being stifled, that's how he felt. And no one can take that away from you.
Right.
Do you understand? So that's why I say you can't win.
But then also on the other hand, he signed the contract,
That's what I'm trying to say. So
which he would have had. Well, I'm guessing he would have had someone to look over it and think. So
for us, sometimes engaging in that kind of conversation, you just keep talking forever sometimes. And why I rate even people like yourself or anybody, all these content creators online, is that you lot are fearless and I say brave in the fact that knowing that when you state your opinion, you're never going to be right. You're never going to please everybody. There's going to be a good portion of people that are going to be going against you, but you still do it. Now, in these instances, as I say, we come there, you defend your position, and then they'll still say, record contracts are da-da-da-da. And you're like, but you don't understand how much is invested into that artist. You don't understand that that artist didn't even make us any money. Do you understand? Just cost a bunch of money, and then you've elevated their career. Unless someone's really in it, you're only going to get so far with a conversation.
why do record labels do that though for the 3 months after? So can't even to release independently, like even if he just wanted to put something on his own YouTube or just in general now, what's the reason for that?
Because just think about now, I sign you, right? And I put 100 grand into you, right? But this 100 grand is going to have a knock-on and trickle-down effect, right? So we're elevating your position as an artist, right? Now, because the contracts are so short, people aren't protected like they used to be, yeah? Because it's not 5 albums you've got someone for as much anymore. It's a lot shorter. Now, I take 600K off you you take 600K off me for 2 singles, right?
Right, okay.
I release the 2 singles, then now we might get to a C-list on one of them, and an A-list on the second one. You're flying now.
Yeah.
Off of my hour, yeah? My investment and our work, yeah? Then you just go down the road to another label, release your 3rd song with them, and they reap all the rewards, yeah, of those first 2. It's not fair. It's not really fair on my investment, do you know what I mean? And I think that's partly why, and there are other reasons, but that's for me like quite a simple.
Do you feel that there's enough education in the music industry about things like this, about how contracts work, about why do you feel, because I think that sometimes what people think as well is that people like Pounds come to you guys and then there's a level maybe of, they would say, you've taken advantage of that person because they don't have the knowledge and of course they're not going to know how to read a contract, or why would he even this, or da-da-da-da-da. And it's for you guys to tell him that this is how it should be. So obviously, again, you've been on both sides. You've been that talent and now you're...
Zubin, who manages Georgia Smith, was my lawyer as an artist, yeah?
Right.
And he will tell you that I knew about my contract as much as he knew about my contract. I read all you need to know about the music business and understood it and applied it and helped to negotiate my own contract, yeah? So that's me. I'm a learner. A lot of artists, you'll tell them to do that and they won't.
So you just think it's... because
It's not just lack of education, because
but
you
I was
technically
gonna
you don't
say,
even
I was
need.
going to say laziness.
Yeah, no, but you don't even need that, because technically that's what you pay a lawyer for.
Right, okay.
So your lawyer is there giving you professional advice. They're taking this paragraph and explaining what it means to you. And then an artist will probably say to a lawyer, can we get that out? If the lawyer can, they will. Some things are like, well, this is just standard. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if someone has enough leverage, they can maybe get out more than another person. And if they don't, they can't. But it's all based on where you are at that time.
Right.
Now, understandably, signing something at a point in time in the present has a vast bearing on your future. It's difficult, but that's the gamble you take.
I personally think it's a lack of laziness. personally, because whether not even reading it, like you said, you literally could get somebody to read it for you and make sure everything is correct in language you don't understand. But I guess that's what, when we had Big Nasty on, he was saying, but that's what happens. People see money and then they just, they see the money and then they don't think of anything else.
Yeah, and that's it. And I mean, for most people at that point in time in their life, it's life-changing money. So, and it's life-changing at point A, and then at point B, they've made loads of money, and they're like, that money is nothing now.
Yeah.
But it was a hell of a lot then, but trying to put yourself back into that mindset is very difficult for them.
Who are you as a manager, talent manager, is there anyone that you're looking at, you think, oh, they're dope, they're sick, I wouldn't mind, like who have you got, like who's fresh on the block that's like, oh yeah, they're dope?
There's a guy that's signed to 5K called Zakar. I think he's incredible. I think Berwin's incredible. Who else? I mean, Koji's popping anyway, but Koji's incredible.
Yeah. What do you look for?
I think you're incredible. I mean, we had conversations about me trying to manage you.
And then he just didn't return any of my calls again.
But I think you're incredible. I think you're going to be huge.
When you look at me, what do you think? Do you ever think, fuck, I should have snapped her up quicker?
Of course. But I mean, no, but once again, it goes back to the thing I was saying though. In hindsight, as long as I'm right, I'm happy. So where you were then to where you are now
fair
was
enough.
the trajectory that I saw. So
Right,
I was
okay.
right. Yeah, I didn't have to do it to know.
True,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then as I say, for me, like Oprah trajectory is very possible for you. Do you understand? And I saw that. I think it will come to fruition. And I get to say, I could have done that. I should have done that. It's what it is. I mean, whoever, like, you had Young T and Bugsy on the other day.
Yeah.
I was the first one on them with Western.
Right.
One of the first ones there.
That's what I'm saying. You're always ahead of. You're very ahead of the game.
That's it. So as long as I'm right, it's all right. Not everything's meant for you, is it? Do you know what I mean? And there's other ways we'll be able to work together anyway in some capacity.
100%.
Of course. Yeah.
As much as I get onto the rappers and stuff, I do get concerned about them, and just like what we were talking about at the beginning about life after rap and all those type of things, and you can do other things, and I think you are a good example of that, because I don't think there's enough examples, because I think that's why they cling on and they get scared, because there's not enough examples of like, I did do that, but now look, I'm still I'm still at all the same events that you're at, I'm still popping, people still respect me, I still have nice cash flow, I'm still doing well, and I don't think there's enough examples, and that's why even Wretch, when he did the interview the other day, talking about him investing in the green machine and all the shops that he's got, I thought that was beautiful, because we need that. I don't think there's enough of that at the moment, of them seeing that there's other things, life after rap. It's not, you don't have to be like,
That is true, and I'd say that a lot of them are going to lose all their money anyway, just because we get finessed into spending it on stupid things. Unfortunately, for the younger generation, they're under way more pressure than we were ever under. Like, at young ages, we could get away with a Techno Marine and Aquamaster. Now, you don't have a 30 to 50K watch. Everyone's looking at you like you're a bum. Do you understand? Then girls of their age as well, unfortunately, older guys are taking them to this place, that place, this jet and all the rest. Now, a young guy has all this pressure on him to try and keep up appearances, right? So most of them are gonna lose a lot of money, but they'll learn in the process. The better ones will...
Do you have a lot of the younger ones speaking to you and asking you for advice?
Yeah, and they ask for advice and they don't take it. Do you see? Do you know what I mean? Because it's boring advice.
Right.
And unfortunately, when you're caught in the presence of something, it's hard to believe that it's gonna end. Which is, even when we live life, it's actually hard to believe that we're gonna die.
Oh my God, I've been thinking about death a lot recently.
And I do too. I'm not a person that wants to live for like a very long time, not to wish death upon myself. I don't want to die young, but I just don't want to be old, like super
I want to be like 150, like
150. No, that's long. That's long. No, all your friends will be dead as well.
No, but I
Your
have to see my
family.
kids and my grandkids.
They don't really care about you like that.
That's-
They just visit you out.
It's so, do you know what? It is. You get more, sorry,
Yeah.
I was saying, yeah, like.
So as I say, with these people, but then at the same time, they've got, like you'll see DBE doing crypto stuff, right? They've got a massive pool of information available to them online, right? So you'll find some of them are gonna fly afterwards.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Some of them
yeah.
are going to be in tech and all these things. As long as they take advantage of the opportunities and information that's available, they have the potential to do way more. But in the process, loads will be lost. Yeah,
that's
because
just
you're paying £1,000 for a hoodie these days. £100 hoodie. And you bought Prada trainers for like $2, yeah? Now you have to pay £1,000.
Do you know, I was talking about something the other day, and I was talking about, I was actually talking about House of CB, and I was saying like when she used to be called Celeb Boutique, and she used to do the, you know, what were they called, the Herb Ledger dresses. I don't know how to, the tight ones that came, and then she brought out the cheaper version, but they were really good quality. But when I was talking to my friends, I was like, I think they was probably about who knows, maybe about £200. But back in the day, that £200 was like, whoa. But now you look at, you can't buy nothing. Like you can't buy good quality. You can't go and get nothing for £200 these days.
For a plain t-shirt, I'll spend £100 odd.
Yeah, but that's because you're not going Primark. Where are you going?
Yeah, no, because I tried that when I was younger, but I swear I bought it, and I bought the same size, but they were all different shapes and sizes. Like one was, the body was like this, one would be like this.
So where'd you buy your tees from then? £100 tee?
James Pierce. Oh shit, Dummy's gonna be upset if I tell everyone that. Dummy bust me on that t-shirt.
Oh, sorry,
right?
Dummy.
And now
you
I've
guys,
told
also
everyone.
you can just go to Marks and Spencer, and they also have good quality t-shirts there.
But sometimes they don't fit. Like places like Zara and stuff, they're not. I don't think they're made for black men sometimes.
For the physique.
Yeah.
Because it's a European brand. It's like with the sizing for the women as well. It's always a bit
trying to
off.
buy a suit, and I'm like, what? I can't even fit my leg in both the legs.
G Frsh is letting you know that he's hench.
No,
I'm
not hench. I got a dad bod now.
Thickums then.
No, I'm not a thickums.
That's what we would call you, Thickums.
No.
Me and my cousin would call you
No,
Thickums.
I'm not a
We
thickums.
like Thickums.
It's not a thickums. It's like it's a six-pack underneath.
No, but do you know what a Thickums is?
It's a six-pack
No, but do
underneath.
you know what a Thickums is? It's not like dad bod. It's like nice, thick men. Like they got good legs. You can tell they're meaty. They're
No,
not.
no.
You are that.
No, I'm 2 months away from sexy at all times. That's all it is. It's
No,
not-
but you can be a Thickums and sexy.
No, 2 months away from sexy.
Listen,
Good
the
diet and some
Thickums is the
gym.
new men. Thickums
Yeah,
is like.
No, but you lot say that. And then one time, I was doing that film, Offender, and they were like, you're going to have to be naked in the shower. I'm like, shit, I need to go to gym then, you know? So I went gym, and then after, all my lady friends would be like, oh my God, you look so good. And I was like, so last 2 months ago, what was I looking like? No one told me.
Both of them are good.
One's better than the other. I tell you when you're in trouble as a man, yeah, is if you can't watch your own playback of
You and okay.
yeah. When it hurts to watch that, and I've been there and I've gone,
That's me.
that can't be me.
But I've watched my own playback and I don't like it sometimes.
Girls
and
never like it.
And I'm
Girls-
actually I haven't watched. I've never actually. Sorry, I actually have never done that one time. But what I recently have done is I've got 2 mirrors in my room, right next to my bed, my wardrobe. So sometimes I just draw them in, and you can see what's happening.
Yeah.
And then.
Are you happy with what you see?
Not all the. No, not really.
Then that's when.
But
you
that's
should
what's.
change.
What?
I'm happy now, but as I say, I'm 2 months away from there.
I would call you Thickums, and Thickums is good for me.
No.
He's like, don't do that. Don't say that. Okay. And on that note, thank you so much. I thoroughly enjoyed talking to you. I really have. So on that note, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your mum, tell your dad. I think this is okay for your daughter to watch. This is not like X-rated or anything.
No, but
No, maybe not.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, we out.